me, Nimsuni. Welcome back to another VR video. Today I'm in a little bit of a VR test space, as you can see here. And that's because for a while now, for the past few weeks, I've been working on a bit of an animation project. Not touching VR at all since. So if anyone likes The Matrix or likes the styling of The Matrix, do have a look at that project when I finally make a video of it. But for now, there are some sample shots on Twitter, which you get to see. But other than that, another Boneworks video came out, of course, which means that I got more inspiration to get back into VR again. And so I am. Here I am. Anyway, so this is a quick sample of the physics-based system that I've been working on. And the entire character body, as you can see, is a physics body. It's a full ragdoll, it's all active, it's even got the legs that I can sort of move, and he does kind of step on things as well. But I can sort of push my legs about, as you can see here. Very unusual. But everything else you can see, I've added this sort of slidey motion to sort of cylindrical objects. You can see I haven't done any animations on the fingers yet. The whole character body mesh is a bit of a mess. This is a bit of a cheap model that I got. It's one of those free ones off the asset store, but I do really need to get a good one or actually make one. And I will be improving the fingers once I get the index controller set up for this project. Right now I do have index controllers, but I haven't actually got them ready for this project here. So I don't want to really mess with fingers when I'm going to have to redo them anyway. Now the cool things here is... Ooh, well, that was a nice mess. Anyways, so I've been messing around with the way that the physics actually impacts things and changes the way you move. So here you can see, if I walk into this wall, ding, my head stops myself from moving through, even though my camera is sort of clipping through anyway. But yeah, my head stops me from moving through. However, as long as I go underneath it, it works. Now, of course, that changes things for something like this. Here we have a much smaller space, a much lower space as well. Now, let's have a look at what happens when I go real low. So obviously I can't move through, just go straight into the wall. But if I go real low, and you can probably hear me now in my microphone, just sounding a little bit more muffled. And oop, I've clamped into the wall there, and there we go. We got underneath. And now we can climb right over the top. So there's no actual mechanics involved there. It's literally just me crouching and going into prone, laying down, and clambering through. That's about it. It's as simple as that. The physics engine does all the work. Now, let's have a look at what we've got here. A little bit of an obstacle course, as always, to mess around with. I have a door here, which doesn't open. Bam, bam. It's actually clamped and locked. Now, of course, we can get through it. And there's an easy way up here. Whoop. Da-ba-doo, da-ba-dee. La 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 la. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. And up. Right. Grab. And you'll start noticing there's a little bit of wobble still. A lot of work still to do to get this system working perfectly. Now, I do have a new name for this. But before I say that, let's go down here. Whee! Bang! We opened the door. And there we go. Broke through the door. And that was all on the zip line here. Now, I do suggest you don't try that at home, since your hands will probably melt off from all the friction. Whoop. And what I was saying, I've got a sort of name, and I wanted to coin a new term for this kind of system. Once everyone starts sort of moving towards physics, and we're all sort of trying new things, messing around with a little bit of physics, especially when it comes to body interactions and stuff. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it a new name, and I'm going to call it a presence system. And that sounds quite cool, and that means that this one, which is named Hybrid, as per my last locomotion system, which is what I'm using right now, is called Hybrid Presence, which is quite a cool name. I like it. If you don't, that's fine. Anyways, let's swing around on these things, as I always do with my physics systems. And this one's going to require quite a swing. So, we and up. Oh, wait, maybe not. Oh, yeah, I could have made it actually. One more. Ooh, would have swung right off the edge there. So yeah, a few rotational problems with the hands there, and you can actually tell. They sort of move perfectly when I'm moving my hand, but when they've connected with an object, they float quite a bit. And that's because the sort of damping requires a little bit of cleverness, and I just have to do the quaternion math, and quaternion math is not something that's fun, let's just put it that way. It's a little bit of thinking, well, a lot of thinking. There we go, and then, let's go this way. Whee! Yep. There we go. So yeah, this is all a physics body. Basically, every single object that I grab onto is literally just me grabbing onto the object. There's no sort of special mechanics or swinging mechanics or anything like that. It's literally just, think of this as a VR human fall flat, because that's quite literally what it is, except you have more control over your hands. So when you grab onto something like human fall flat, of course you can't grab onto walls in this case, but when you grab onto something, you can sort of use it to actually lift yourself up. Except in this case, of course, you can not grab onto anything and just lean your hand on top of something and climb up as well. Now this is all stuff that I've shown before, but this time it's much different, because now I've got a full ragdoll character body, and in fact you can actually sort of push your feet about and stuff like that. And you can see it's still quite glitchy, and it looks a little bit off simply because I don't have finger tracking or anything, or animations on the hands. That just makes everything look a little bit awkward. In fact, I'm going to go back here, because that leads to nowhere anyway. Whoop, whoop, yep, yep, and whoop, and we're going to go down here. And you can see here a light bulb with no rope, but it is hanging off the ceiling. And that's quite fun. It's a physics light bulb. So now you can imagine if I had my index controllers connected and I had full finger tracking, you'd be able to make some shadow puppets here. Yeah, a lot of fun to be had when you're messing with physics and with VR systems, or new sort of technologies nowadays. And of course you can headbutt it. Doing, doing. Yeah, there you go. And of course it crashes into the body and everything like that. So there we go. Yep. So it's all fully physics based, fully a physics body here. And of course all your collisions and stuff here, you can see I can't go through the wall, but I can go underneath it. Let's go one more time. Now I haven't done an actual crawling locomotion yet, so right now I'm just using the analog to move around underneath things. Otherwise I'm using my sort of standard run motion system, which is quite fluid now anyway. So I do apologize if it's a bit jumpy and you've got your sort of getting a little bit of motion sickness from me looking around quite quickly. I do apologize, but that's how things are. Now of course we've got other things like this stuff, and you go away. You are a hammer, and you can see a little bit of messing around there. Of course there's a tube mechanic on there, a cylinder shape, but it doesn't work very well on the gun. And these ball objects, you can see I can grab them at any point, and it just sort of softly grabs onto the object like so. And that's me messing around with a little bit more clever grab systems, and of course with the gun as well, you can grab on that one point, except there's a little bit of a problem with these things, wherein the actual arm, the forearm, is touching them, is colliding with them when they're grabbed, which is what's causing all the rotational weirdness. And that's okay, because I can fix that anyway. So again, this is clearly very early type stuff. This is very prototypey, but it does look and work quite well, and it's quite fun to mess around with, and there's going to be so much more that I can do with this. It's going to be so cool. I can of course like actually push on my arm. You can see I can push on my leg. I can lift my leg. It's quite cool. It's quite cool. Anyways, that's pretty much the end of this video. Let's just grab this thing here and lift it up and be like this. And of course you can see here it pushes on my head as well. So there we go. You can just sort of balance something like this on my shoulder quite easily. and it helps you lift heavy objects and everything. Everything becomes more natural. You just sort of lift things the way you naturally would. You lean things on your shoulders. You can just sort of hang something off your arm, for example. Yeah, and it'll drop off anyway. There we go. There we go. Nice and easy. Quite cool. There we go. And up here you can stay. And there you go. Ding. That's pretty much the end of this video. Not very much to show, but all very cool. All very cool stuff that is nowhere near ready, as you can tell. But clearly the idea is there, and I'll get to work with this. But first, I'm going to be showing the animation project that I've been working on. Do check that out when I upload it. Right now, this is it. Thanks very much for watching, and goodbye.